Ellen at Rent Roll Starter. I wanted to share a little bit of advice with you about how to get email right. Now, email is one of the greatest inventions ever, and it's fantastic for providing reliable communication to your clients and your prospective clients and within the office as well. However, it's not the only method of communication we should be using in real estate. So I just wanted to share a few little tips with you about how I like to use email and how I found using email when you're growing a rent roll to be most effective. And a few little tips and things to consider when you're about to send an email. So the first thing is the subject line. I always think that when you send an email, you should include in the subject line the subject. And I know that sounds perhaps blatantly obvious, but sometimes we don't include what we actually want to talk about. So in property management, what I used to include in my subject line was the topic, so maintenance required on hot water system, and then a little dash, and the property address, 23 Smith Street, Sydney. So that's how I used to fill my subject line in, so that when the landlord received an email like that, they knew exactly what it was I wanted to discuss in the email. Now, the other thing to consider is the high priority flag on your emails. My opinion is that no email is high priority. In fact, if you've got something to discuss with a landlord or a tenant and it's high priority, you don't use email. So for me, unless I have exhausted all other methods of communication and I'm trying desperately to get hold of someone, I would never use the high priority flag in an email. So unless I've been calling and texting and knocking on doors to try and get hold of somebody to discuss a high priority issue, I wouldn't use the high priority flag. I'm not sure that probably in the entire time that email has existed, I don't think I've ever used the high priority flag. I just don't think that if an issue is high priority, it should be discussed via email anyway. However, if you have been banging on doors, leaving voicemail messages, sending SMSs, and you're trying desperately to get hold of someone, and you're using email as a last resort to try and get contact with the person, then perhaps using the high priority flag is an appropriate course of action. I probably don't need to give this tip, but capital letters, we probably all know that capitalizing the letters of entire words or entire sentences implies that you're shouting. So I don't think that there's any reason that you would capitalize the letters of entire words or sentences simply because you don't want to give the impression, even if it's not what you're wanting to say, you're trying to just emphasize something. I would say that capital letters are a no-no with emails. Obviously capitalize the first letter of a word at the beginning of a sentence, just use your punctuation correctly. However, I wouldn't capitalize full words or full sentences under any circumstances. If you're wanting to emphasize something, I would suggest that bold, italic, or underlining something is a more appropriate way to emphasize something within your email. And then I would also finally consider the length of your email. So if you can't get what you're trying to say across in one, maybe two paragraphs, then probably the topic that you're trying to discuss needs to be a phone call, not an email. So I would suggest that if you're starting to type an email and it's just getting longer and longer, then you probably either need to find a way to make it more concise and bring it back to just one paragraph, or you just need to pick up the phone and call your client and have the conversation and then just follow it up with an email to confirm the discussion that you had with that client. The other thing that I like to keep in mind with email is it's a really great tool for delivering information. It's not always a great tool for having constant communication with someone, so it's not always great for ask a question, get a response, ask another question, get another response. That tends to make emails go back and forward and can be kind of painful, and it can certainly stretch out a conversation to take hours at a time or days at a time, when in lots of cases a quick phone call would actually reduce the amount of time you have to spend and reduce the amount of time that your client has to spend responding as well. So I would say email is not a great forum or great platform for having back and forth communication. It's really great for delivering information, for confirming a conversation that you've had and that sort of thing. It's not great for asking questions, getting answers and so on. So hopefully those few tips are really useful for you when you're thinking about sending an email. Email's really great, and I would suggest that you make the most of it and maximize this tool that's just so fantastic that our technology has available to us. But don't rely on it completely. I think the telephone is a fantastic tool as well, and the phone just allows you to communicate much more clearly, and you can communicate tone and volume, and you can really get across what you're trying to say. Whereas with an email's always read through the filter of the receiver. So you just have to keep that in mind when you're sending an email. And if you're not sure, then that's probably a really good sign that this topic needs to be had over a phone call rather than an email. So hopefully that's useful to you. I'd really love to hear any suggestions you have about how you send your emails, how you maximize and optimize the use of email in your business and even in your personal life as well. I'd always love to hear that too. So if you want to leave a comment below, that could be really handy, and that also allows everybody else to see how you handle emails and gives all of us some ideas on maximizing your email strategy. If you've got any questions about this or anything else in relation to rent roll starting, you're welcome to contact us at rentrollstarter.com.au, and we'll be happy to get back to you and help you out. My name's Ellen, I'm from Rent Roll Starter, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye!